At 5 o'clock, Mayor Brandon Scott struck an upbeat tone and laid out his vision for the city at his inauguration today.
He talked about his love for Baltimore and the mission to save lives from violence.
And WJZ investigator Mike Helgren live in your corner at Morgan State University. That's where Scott previewed his second term in office now. Mike, good evening.
Good evening, Rick and Nikki. The theme here is that Baltimore is experiencing a renaissance with major crime categories down, including homicides. The mayor has plans to revitalize long neglected neighborhoods that have been plagued by violence and vacant homes.
The office of Mayor of the City of Baltimore.
You're watching something that has not happened in a generation. A mayor of Baltimore City being sworn in for a second term.
Congratulations, Mayor Brandon Scott.
Mayor Brandon Scott's inauguration celebrated his successes. Homicides down 24%, non-fatal shootings by 34%, and a chance for the first time in 13 years to close out the year with fewer than 200 killings.
Which is nothing short of remarkable.
For which he received a standing ovation. Scott reflected on how he was touched by gun violence as a child.
All I could do was jump into the bushes and hope a bullet didn't jump in there with me. After it happened, it was the feeling of fear and frustration that took over.
Scott grew up in Park Heights and today bridged his past and the future.
One thing about being raised here is that we are built different and can thrive under any amount of pressure.
On the stage, former mayors Catherine Pugh, Martin O'Malley, Jack Young, Sheila Dixon, and State's Attorney Ivan Bates, who endorsed Dixon in her bid to unseat him from office. Also, former Mayor Stephanie Rawlings Blake, who gave Scott his start at City Hall.
He embodies our grit, our resilience, and our unshakable love for this city.
Among Scott's priorities, recouping 2% of local sales taxes that now go to the state to fund efforts to tear down vacant homes and reduce property taxes. Getting more middle-class black families to move to Baltimore. Continued backing for his holistic violence reduction strategy that relies on direct outreach to people most at risk to commit crimes. And convincing a Trump administration and a Republican Congress to help fund it, along with a replacement Key Bridge.
But unfortunately, we simply do not know the attitude that they'll take to these things. But as always, Baltimore will fight for itself.
And to that end, the mayor says he will continue to get justice in the courts where he's won big against Big Pharma with opioids and gun manufacturers with lawsuits bringing in hundreds of millions of dollars to city coffers. We're live in your corner at Morgan State University. Mike Helgren, WJZ.